How predatory is LA? It feels that way to me.
In what way?
It feels like there's a lot of ambitious people, and then there are a lot of people with power taking advantage of those ambitious people. That's the way it feels.
There is definitely that. I had one experience that I actually talk about in my book, Unscripted, where there was a director that approached me and said, will you meet me in my hotel room? I want to talk to you about a film. And at that point, I had a different agent. I had a better agent. And I was on Curb at the time. And I said, well, I talked to my agent and I said,
You're on Curb Your Enthusiasm when he called you?
You know what? I think we had shot it, but it hadn't aired.
Okay.
Oh, because I met him in at a drugstore in LA. Yeah. I mean, this person has since been exposed, if you will. And he came up to me and said, I guess I could tell you the name.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. It's James Toback.
James Toback.
So he wrote, what did he write that at Bugsy? He wrote the film Bugsy. He's a successful director, writer. And I thought, well, this is a legitimate person. And my agent said, I think you should meet him. And I said, even if it's in his hotel room?
It's a little weird.
A Friday night?
How about the Polo Lounge? Or
Yeah. And he said, people do this all the time. This was a while ago. This was a while ago.
They do this all the time. Okay.
This was probably when I was, how long ago? 20 years ago. No, more than that. 25 years ago, at least. And I felt strange going into a man's hotel room on a Friday night. So I asked my friends to come with me. I said, will you guys wait in the Polo Lounge? I said, this is...
it was in the Beverly Hills Hotel?
Yes.
Well, that's just perfect.
Am I allowed to say that? And then I gave him the room number. I said, if you don't hear from me in whatever it was, 30 minutes, come knock on this room, because I don't know if I'm going to have phone reception. I don't know what's going to happen. It's probably all going to be fine. But if you don't hear from me, just come to the room. And so when I got to his room, I said, just so you know, my friends are waiting for me downstairs. And, he said, okay, or whatever. I did not get the vibe that it was a weird situation. And then he starts talking, and then he's, telling me, you really have to be willing to step out of your comfort zone as an actor. You have to, and he's asking me, do you feel like you can do that? And I said, well, of course I can. I'm an actress. I'm a trained actress. This is what we do all the time. And so then he starts asking me strange questions.
Like what?
Do I have a lot of body hair?
Do you have a lot of body hair?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And
that's not usually part of the woo.
It's really not. And I thought that is
a lot
so
of body hair
crazy.
For an opening line. That doesn't seem effective to me. I'm not a woman though. Does that work?
Oh, yeah. I fell madly in love that night. We had tons of kids and we're happy. And I was like, okay, well, I can't say that I do. I'm like looking at the hair on my arms. I'm like, you can't really see it. I don't know where this is going, And then he says, you want to take off your shoes and get comfortable. I said, oh, I'm comfortable. And he said, you don't want to take off your shoes? And I said, I don't. I'm totally comfortable. Don't worry about me. And I was wearing boots. And he said, why don't you take off one boot?
Come on.
And at this point, I'm like,
men are so creepy. I'm
like,
sorry.
One boot. And I'm thinking to myself, why one boot? Like, where is this going? Why would it be one boot? But for whatever reason, I was sort of intrigued. Like, why one boot? So I took off one boot. I left my sock on. And then he starts talking again. And then my friends knock on the door. And I said, oh, that must be my friends. And he looked at me like, what are you talking about? And I went and I opened the door and they were all, it was like an episode of Friends where they're all their heads are in the doorway like, Cheryl. And one of my friends looked at my feet and he said, where's your boot? I said, oh, it's over by the couch. And he goes, get your boot, we're going. And they were all like, yeah, get your boot, you're out of here. And I said, yeah, it is weird, isn't it? And they said, yeah, it's weird.
It's so weird.
And then I left.
Did you ever talk to him again?
No, but, he was sued by a lot of women because he would, this is what he'd do. He would, because he is a successful person, director, writer, he would go up to women in New York and LA and say, I'm James Toback, you must know me. Why don't you come over to my place? I want to work on something with you or show you a script or whatever. And, and his thing was apparently that he liked feet.
Yeah, that is a thing.
And he would manipulate these women, overpower them, and do sexually provocative things.
Yeah. I don't see feet as sexually provocative. Maybe I'm the weirdo.
No, same. And in the moment, I don't know. It never occurred to me that this would do. It never occurred to me that this is a weird guy who's trying to, do something sexual. I mean, I guess it's sort of a slow burn, because a lot of stuff you do as an actor is weird. There are a lot of things that are not normal, that are odd, that are out of your comfort zone. You're showing up on a set and kissing a person that you just met, and that's part of your job. If that's your role, that's the scene. So there are things that happen that are just strange and also normal at the same time. So, taking one boot off, I just didn't think that was.
That the script called for that.
No, I didn't. Had no idea if the script would go for that, but I didn't. I can understand how a woman that's in a spot like that, it's a very vulnerable place for them to be. And if I didn't have my friends on the other side of the door, I don't know what would have happened. I don't know. But anyway, what was your question? It was something about taking advantage.
Yeah, are there predators in Hollywood? And I think
we did an interview with a woman called Casey Means. She's a Stanford-educated surgeon and really one of the most remarkable people I have ever met. In the interview, she explained how the food that we eat, produced by huge food companies, Big Food, in conjunction with pharma, is destroying our health, making this a weak and sick country. The levels of chronic disease are beyond belief. What Casey Means, who we've not stopped thinking about ever since, is the co-founder of a healthcare technology company called Levels. And we are proud to announce today that we are partnering with Levels. And by proud, I mean sincerely proud. Levels is a really interesting company and a great product. It gives you insight into what's going on inside your body, your metabolic health. It helps you understand how the food that you're eating, the things that you're doing every single day are affecting your body in real time. And you don't think about it. You have no idea what you're putting in your mouth and you have no idea what it's doing to your body. But over time, you feel weak and tired and spacey, and over an even longer period of time, you can get really sick. So it's worth knowing what the food you eat is doing to you. The Levels app works with something called a continuous glucose monitor, a CGM. You can get one as part of the plan, or you can bring your own. It doesn't matter. But the bottom line is big tech, big pharma, and big food combine together to form an incredibly malevolent force pumping you full of garbage, unhealthy food with artificial sugars, and hurting you and hurting the entire country. So with Levels, you'll be able to see immediately what all of this is doing to you. You get access to real-time personalized data, and that's a critical step to changing your behavior. Those of us who like Oreos can tell you firsthand. This isn't talking to your doctor at an annual physical, looking backwards about things you did in the past. This is up to the second information on how your body is responding to different foods and activities, the things that give you stress, your sleep, et cetera, et cetera. It's easy to use. It gives you powerful, personalized health data, and then you can make much better choices about how you feel. And over time, it'll have a huge effect. Right now, you can get an additional 2 free months when you go to levels.link/Tucker. That's levels.link/Tucker. This is the beginning of what we hope will be a long and happy partnership with Levels and Dr. Casey Means.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. We hope you'll subscribe to it. And by the way, you can hit the little bell on there and get notifications every time we produce a video. We hope you'll do that also.